Abuse is huge. It's happening every day, every hour.
Law enforcement agencies for 2021, Stearns and Benton County, they responded to almost 1,600 domestic violence related cases.
Abuse is probably the #1 killer.
Last year in the state of Minnesota, 26 people were killed due to domestic violence.
If it wasn't for Anna Marie's, I would be lost. I would still be broken, unsure of who I am. Born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. Shortly after graduating high school, I found out I was pregnant, and that's when I migrated to Minnesota. The dad and I, of course, weren't on good terms. He had a good job, a good car, all the things that you think you want in a guy. I fell in love with, I think, the materialistic things versus him as an individual. My situation is slightly different, and I say that because I didn't realize that I was in an abusive relationship because mine didn't necessarily start off as physical. And I had convinced myself that it wasn't abuse because I would fight back. Ours were really heated arguments where we would hit below the belt, and he broke me mentally.
People often think of it as physical, which it often is, that there's a physical component to domestic violence or the threat of violence. So that's often used. But there's also emotional abuse where people verbally abuse people, emotionally abuse people.
It got to a violent situation twice. The second time was when I ran out of the apartment and actually went to my neighbor's home. And I couldn't even speak. I couldn't talk about what had happened. I just was bawling. And she was the one that introduced me to Anna Marie's.
Anna Marie's Alliance is a program in St. Cloud that provides essential services to families fleeing domestic violence. So we do that through emergency shelter, community advocacy, and prevention education work.
They encouraged me not to worry about any clothing or going back to the apartment. They asked me was I safe, and I was at my neighbor's house. So I left with a baby in my belly and the clothes on my back. My daughter was born maybe 2 months after being accepted into Anna Marie's. I didn't have any family, not my sister or my daughter's father showed up at the hospital, but Anna Marie's showed up at the hospital, and they showed up with flowers, balloons, and gifts. I didn't have a baby shower, and they did that for me.
So on average, we serve in the shelter between 450 and 500 women and children in the shelter, and then with our community advocacy and our 24-hour hotline, you probably serve between 1,500 and 1,800 more people on an annual basis.
I went through 3 years of transition before I actually got on my feet and figured out, I need to do better and make better choices. My life now is completely different from then. Now I am self-employed. I own my own business. The name of my business is called No Limit Painting. I am also the art director of the Yes Network. I am also a wife and a mother of 3.
I have the privilege when I'm out in the community and talking about Anna Marie's Alliance and the work that we do, that I have people like Antionette come up to me and say, I just want to thank you for your work. I stayed at Anna Marie's Alliance 20 years ago. I don't know where I would have been now if it wasn't for you. I'm in a healthy relationship. My kids are growing up. And that is so incredible to hear that story.
I'm proud of who I am sitting before you today, how far I've come. I'm proud of my family that I've created. I'm proud of my marriage. I'm proud that I'm happy and mentally stable. I'm proud that I walked away, that I got in that cab and left